What's going on, guys? Aero here, and guys, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon are less than a month away, and so guys, the wait is just almost over as we're finally going to be able to play these next new Pokemon games, and I'm really excited. And today I've actually got some more information to talk to you guys for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Now the information that I have here actually comes to us from a Famitsu interview. Now let me just quickly give you guys some context on Famitsu if you're not familiar with it. Basically, Famitsu is a magazine that comes out in Japan, and it's a pretty cool magazine because they also review a lot of games, so they have some cool reviews that go up in that magazine as well, but they also do some interviews with the important developers of various video games as well, and so we can learn a lot of cool things about how video games are made and just a lot of games that we're interested in by reading these Famitsu interviews. Now obviously, because of how the magazine comes out in Japan, we always have to wait for someone to translate the information or use like Google Translate or something like that to get an idea of what they're trying to say. Now speaking of Famitsu, something cool that I actually saw by Famitsu I think a few days ago was that they actually got to review Super Mario Odyssey and they gave it a score of 39 out of 40, which is a really good score. And I mean, Super Mario Odyssey, it just seems like it's an amazing game, guys. Like the first review I saw was by Edge magazine and that gave it a perfect score, 10 out of 10. So this game just looks really good. But anyway, this video is not about Super Mario Odyssey, it's about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as Famitsu actually got to have an interview with the major developers of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Mr. Omori, and I can't say this guy's name and I feel so bad, it's Mr. Iwao. I'll have their faces on screen so you guys can see who I'm talking about. So they got to have like a special interview with these two main developers of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and so a lot of major information for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out of this Famitsu interview, and I actually have the notes for all the major points that were talked about in that interview as well. However, from what I'm hearing, it looks like that this interview actually was leaked a little bit ahead of time, and it was supposed to come out in the Famitsu magazine when like the official release day was for that magazine, but it looks like that this interview was actually leaked ahead of time. And so where I'm getting this information is actually from like a Japanese website where they have all of the notes that came out of this Famitsu interview. So I actually used Google Translate to see if I could turn this into like something that I'm going to be able to understand. So I did do that. It's in English here, and I'll have that on your screen so you guys can see what I'm reading. But you guys will also notice that the translations aren't perfect because obviously this is Google Translate working here, and obviously with like Pokemon names and stuff like that, it's not going to be perfect, but we can still get an idea of what it's talking about. And yeah, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that it says right here is, after Sun and Moon's development, I thought that there are still more things to do in the Aurora region. So obviously here, by saying Aurora, we know he means Alola region. So yeah, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is issued because we wanted to offer a game that allows users to feel diversity before Alola's image got settled. So here, we don't actually have like a lot of new information. I think here they're just trying to say, like, after Sun and Moon, we didn't want people to forget about Alola, and we had many more ideas for Alola, and so that's why we decided to come out with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon to use all of those extra ideas that we still have. I think that's what they're trying to say here. I mean, there's not like a lot of new information, but it's still pretty cool how they're talking about like why they decided to create Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Alright, so the next thing that it says right here is, as a story is not a sequel, but a story that makes a slightly different branch which Sun and Moon develops. So like I said before, this translation isn't the best, but we can still get an idea of what it's trying to say, and I think here it's pretty clear on what they're trying to say. Basically, they're just trying to make people understand that, once again, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is not a sequel, and I know I made this mistake as well. Like when Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were revealed for the first time, I thought that they were going to be sequels, kind of like how Pokemon Black and White 2 were sequels to the original. Like they followed the events that happened after Pokemon Black and White. Like it was a whole entire Unova region 2 years later than the events that happened in Black and White. That's not the case with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It's basically the same time period, except there's just like a different story. It's basically an alternate universe where different stuff happens. So that's what they're just trying to say here. Like it's going to be a different story than what happens in Sun and Moon, and that's basically what they said right there, with a story that makes a slightly different branch. Like it's a story that's pretty much the same as the Sun and Moon story, but then it's going to start to branch off into something different, which is what's going to make up Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Alright, the next thing that it says right here is, a character called Ultra Investigation Corps appears, from which the axis of the story changes. Since it will appear from the opening, it will be exciting to start exciting at the beginning of the game. So once again, the translations aren't the best, but I think we can still understand what it's trying to say. Now obviously when it says here Ultra Investigation Corps, I'm pretty sure that they're referring to the Ultra Recon squad, like those 4 new members that we saw in one of those recent trailers, and it says right here from which the axis of the story will change. So I think they're trying to say here that after having these new characters characters introduced, like after having the Ultra Recon Squad be a part of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the story is going to be much different. Like it's not like they're just going to be a slightly like better part of the story, or just have them there for like additional information or something like that and just be there for like a few minutes. No, it looks like here that the entire story is going to change just from these 4 characters, which seems really interesting. And it said right here that since they will appear from the opening, and I saw that as well. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught that, but in the trailer, like I think in one of the scenes, I'll put the picture up on screen for you guys right now, there's actually a part where the scene was exactly the same as the scene in the beginning of Pokemon Sun and Moon, where like Lily is running away with Cosmog from her mother. And you guys know in Sun and Moon, it was actually the Aether Foundation that was running after her and stopping her, but from this scene, it looks like it's the Ultra Recon Squad that's chasing her. So that's going to change up the story dramatically. Like I don't understand like how it's going to be, or did I say dramatically? I meant drastically. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, it's going to change the story a lot, as how by having the Ultra Recon Squad chasing after them, what's the point of the Aether Foundation? Like, are the Aether Foundation members still there? Like, it's going to be really interesting to see how the Ultra Recon Squad is going to change up the entire story. Alright, the next thing that it says right here is there is a main story of a different development from Sun and Moon, and an additional episode is also prepared after entering the Hall of Fame. From a user who imagines a minor change version such as Emerald or Platinum, it is possible to expect more change. So I think here this is definitely the developers of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon trying to confirm to everybody that Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is not just a small upgraded version like how Emerald and Platinum were. And even those versions, I thought they had some pretty good changes. And so if they're saying right here that you can expect even more changes, that's just really good. And the thing right here that I found really interesting was the fact that they said there's an additional episode which is also prepared after entering the Hall of Fame. And so that makes it seem like there's actually going to be a really good post game to Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and I really love that. I wanted to see a really good post game for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, as Pokemon post games just haven't been really good recently. I think the last post game that I loved was Pokemon Black and White. If you guys remember that, like after you got into the Hall of Fame, there was like an entire right side of the region that you got to explore. Like there was so many new towns and routes that you were able to go, and I would love that about Pokemon Black and White. And I really wish we could have some type of post game like that with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and like even Sun and Moon. Like the post game wasn't really that much. Like all we had was like those looker missions, or not even looker missions, but it was basically just him coming in saying, oh yeah, I think there's an Ultra Beast here, here's some Beast Balls, go catch it. Like that's basically what the entire post game was. And then we had like the battle trait. So I really hope that there is like a really good post game to Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I love the Delta episode in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, so if they do something similar to that, or just have like a whole new area or something like that that we could explore, that's just going to make the games a lot more fun. Alright, so the next thing that it says right here is the Ultra Recon Squad are those who come from another world through the Ultra Hall. Now, Ultra Hall, I'm pretty sure, is what they're referring to as like the Ultra Wormhole, so I'm pretty sure that's what they mean here. We also have a new element that the hero rushes through the Ultra Wormhole and visits various different worlds. So here they're referring to that recent trailer. If you guys saw it, I covered it in one of my videos. You're going to be able to go on Solgaleo and Lunala's back, and then you're going to be able to explore a whole bunch of these different worlds that are inside of the Ultra Wormhole. So that's really cool. I think that they're just talking about that and talking about like how that's going to be a whole new piece of content that's going to be in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And I really hope that that does take a while. Like I hope it's not just something that I could explore all of Ultra Space in like an hour or so. I really want it to be like a place that I could explore for a good hour, a good few hours or so, because that would make it a lot more fun. Like that could just be a big part of the game itself, like exploring all of the Ultra Wormhole and seeing like all the different worlds you can get to. I really hope it's not something that's just very linear and like you get through it in like a few minutes and then you're done. I really hope there's like a lot of stuff to do for that. Now the next thing that it says right here is compared to Sun and Moon, Pokemon collection and development are much easier to advance. Now here I'm pretty sure that they're referring to like leveling up your Pokemon, as I know one of the major complaints for Pokemon Sun and Moon was it was really hard to get your Pokemon up to level 100, and the reason people wanted to do that was because they introduced this bottle cap system in Pokemon Sun and Moon where you could actually raise the IVs of your Pokemon. The only thing was your Pokemon had to be level 100, and there was no like really fast way to level up your Pokemon. And I know we've had ways like this in previous Pokemon games, like in X and Y. I think that there was some restaurant that you could go to and like you would be able to level up your Pokemon really fast. Plus they had those like O powers where you could use like the level up O power and you would be able to level up your Pokemon really fast. And also in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I think like an exploit that you guys are probably aware of was how so many people put like Blissies in their secret bases, and if you were able to use like a lucky egg on your Pokemon and then you were able to use the O power and knock out all the Blissies, you would actually get a lot of experience experience, and so that was a really fast way to level up your Pokemon as well. And Sun and Moon just didn't have anything like that, so I think that's what they're trying to say. Like, they fixed that with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and it's going to be much easier to level up your Pokemon, so that's going to be really good to all of those competitive players who are going to play Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Alright, so the next thing that it says right here is, in the world where you can go from Ultra World Pride that moves in a different world, there is a world where you can meet the legendary Pokemon. I meet Mewtwo and be caught. Leave it to your imagination whether you can meet other legendary Pokemon. Now here I actually didn't really understand what they were trying to say, so I looked up some other translations by other people and other articles, and from what I'm aware, it actually looks like when you're exploring the Ultra Wormhole and like the worlds that are inside of there, you're actually going to be able to catch lots of other legendary Pokemon as well. And I think the example that they used in this scenario was you're going to be able to catch Mewtwo, but it also means you're going to be able to catch a lot of other legendary Pokemon. So here it just makes it seem like it's going to be like the Mirage spots that were in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, if you remember that, like those places that you could soar on Latios and like you were able to go and verse a whole bunch of different legendary Pokemon. That's what it looks like is going to be the case for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like in this Ultra Wormhole, you're going to be able to encounter a lot of other legendary Pokemon. I'm sure they're going to be split between the regions, or not the regions, the versions, so it's going to be like Dialga and Ultra Sun and then Palkia and Ultra Moon, but it's still really cool how you're going to be able to get all these legendary Pokemon in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and hopefully they're not shiny locked, as that would be really awesome also. And finally, the last thing that we have here is the thing that I found the most interesting, and it says right here, when comparing with a simple scenario quantity, Sun and Moon has increased about twice. So here I actually did a little bit of research to understand what it was trying to talk about, and they're talking about the story and the dialogue in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And so they asked like, how big is the story and like how much did you actually change? And they said if you're comparing the story and the dialogue that every character is saying in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, if you're comparing that to Sun and Moon, it's twice as big. So that means that the story in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is going to be twice as big as the one in Sun and Moon. So that's a massive story. That means that there's going to be a lot of changes, so much stuff to do, and I really love that about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I really wanted that to be the case. I didn't want these games to be something like I could play in like a few days and just be done with the game and get into the Hall of Fame in like 5 or 6 days. I really wanted it to be a game where I could play for like a few weeks or so, and that's what it seems to be here. It looks like there's going to be a lot of post-game. It looks like there's going to be a huge story. So it looks like Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are actually going to be amazing games, guys. And I know people said that like about Black and White 2 also, when like Black and White 2 was about to release, people were like, this is stupid, it's just Black and White again, like what's the point? And people loved Black and White 2 after it came out. I think we're gonna get a similar reaction here also. Like, people are saying Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is the same thing, it's not good, but after they come out, I think a lot of people are really gonna love it. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, then please be sure to click that like button and also comment down below on all of this information. How are you guys feeling about these new information that we have here for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon? Leave me all of your thoughts down below. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to cover some more Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon news in the future, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero if you ever want to tweet me something or ask me something. I'm usually able to reply to everyone on Twitter, so definitely go and follow me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.